Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to jump. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to jump. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to jump. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics.
What up? Welcome back, people. Not the happiest of Friday for most, but hopefully if you guys been paying attention, you're doing all right. Emotional things going on out there. This is Hothead. Think that's appropriate. I think we get the theme. So we talked about that fractal on diamonds when we looked at that with 2008, and we're getting that extension down. So we're getting the volatility pump up with it. And it looks like we're getting that seasonal move that we warned about a few shows ago for the VIX. So trying to keep everything in perspective of what's going on with the DXY pushes higher as the central bank boosts or risk-free rate, and it is a positive to the dollar versus other currencies. So we have to keep kind of like all sides of this shit in focus. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the upgrades to the channel with the members site. We're trying to tie in more closely with the audience and viewers so we can kind of communicate at a higher level, because this environment is very difficult, and it is a kind of environment that can cause generational destruction to people in the marketplace, much like the bottom of like the internet bubble and the housing bubble. There are people who were involved in capital markets and risk assets before that were forever knocked out, never came back, and it's generational damage to them and their families. So trying to navigate this, I thought, we should tie this in a little more closely, because it's not a typical environment, and it's not one the average retail trader is going to find their way through on their own. this right here, put out there how many of you guys are liking the environment. Looks like, pretty good response. Lots of dudes in here learning some new shit. These guys are able to navigate their way through what is killing most people right now. Very, very, destructive environment. So we're putting out the best stuff we can. Did a live call after the FOMC and basically live traded with the entire crew, whoever is available in the public channel. If anybody's in there, all 900 of you could have showed up. We only had I think 30 or 40 people show up, but a bunch of people torched things. Dude did 10 Rs, 37 Rs trading futures, and we all just together just fucking ran shop on the ES and NQ and ETH and various assets around it. So this to me is like a more complete market TV environment. To me, there's nothing like this in the world. This is by far the most accurate market show in the world. And there's no way you're going to get to talk to the analyst who can actually tell you in real time exactly what the market's going to do. So if you think that can be Photoshop, motherfucker, this just isn't the place for you. So there's no more doubts, I think, with everybody who's been in the room, right? This is navigated to the second for everybody for the last 2 hours of the session to allow people to make choices just following along with what I told them. And just read the market live in a way that is intuitive. So most people who believe the market can't be predicted, that's just their problem. They can't do it. We more than have proven the mechanics of the market are understandable and forecastable, down to the 1 second resolution. I don't want all of you at that resolution. I'm not trying to encourage you to be crackheads. That's just what was required, the speed of the market after the FOMC, and it was possible at that moment. This isn't something we're going to do every day. But it was very awesome to see people of new and old traders in here able to fucking crush this with us. So really cool shit. I think this makes for a really awesome and fun market environment, and that's why we say learn, trade, profit, right? You learn that this is something you can do. This is something mechanical, and you can manage risk, and you can make better choices than a Kathy Woods. So I think this is a really cool experience. I think new and old traders can learn a lot from each other in this environment, and here you see put into practice a lot of what you guys see in war stories. So all the intel you need to kind of teach yourself how to protect yourself, make your own choices is available in this environment between Reddit, the interactions with everybody here from the shows that are learning from each other. There's guys here for 9 years, a decade long worth of experience in some traders that can be shared with you, and all you gotta do is ask a question, So definitely seeing the increase in activity from everybody. And like I told you, participation activity is really key because that is one of the standout traits of the few who are not killed in these cycles. So very good to see that. You guys pay attention. Dropped you something ridiculous in the new OnlyFans that we moved into Discord, which is also part of this integration. We gave you a play on, I guess you can't see that well, the DXY. We warned you about the DXY on the 20th before the FOMC to set up a play for you. We gave you ranges in DXY, and then we gave you a sheet for the Euro to plan for that. And so this morning, if you played that, our trigger was literally perfect. Post FOMC, and just death to the Euro and pound with this move down now. 20-year, 20 plus year lows on the pound. So if you guys are paying attention, just like we said, this is where the real action is too. Currencies, and for you guys in Europe, having the ability to hedge, your euro-based assets, against the real bull market and currencies is definitely something most people haven't even realized they need to do, even still, as things are getting just obliterated. So in a very inflationary environment, any preservation of purchasing power that you can possibly pull off, you want to have the ability to even have the fucking choice, And as you see the kind of nonsense they're going on stations, they're trying to counter trade Jim Cramer on this network and all kinds of nonsense. They're not providing any real insights to anybody out there. Retail is just being fucking annihilated. On the topic of retail being annihilated, where did I see that chart? I believe Todd posted that. Let me see if I can find it. This speaks to what we talked about with retail. Let's see if we can find this chart real quick. Damn it, where is it? Damn it, there it is. So we spoke about the Fed is basically sending people back to work, right? And check it out. This is literally exactly that, right? Mom and pop have given up. Retail is wrecked. That's literally exactly what the Fed's intentions are. When the market bombed off the Fed saying, they would sustain whatever it takes to fucking curb inflation, and Kashikari said they like seeing the market's reaction, basically tanking. market tanking is destructive to mom and pop. So they like seeing fucking like, you know, basically the common folks get smashed because they want you on the side of the equation that allows them to manage the system the way they see fit. This week joins 4 others in 35 years, with more than 60% of the respondents in this survey basically saying fuck it. You know, and they're talking about the 1-year return. So the depths of despair is where our bull markets come from. And, you know, but you don't want to say, okay, it's that low, that means that must be the bottom today. It's just in a place that you're now watching for that bottom formation, but you have to see where the final blow off really happens. So when we looked at like the 2008 and current Dow Jones situation, we said there's like, you know, great similarities. One of the other similarities in the bear cycle when you're heading towards like November, December, January of 2009, February of 2009, is the liquidity goes fucking completely ghost. Like you can barely be in the market. It looks like it's moving against you. It's fucking thin. And the crowd doesn't have any capital to be there, right? We make money off of, you know, mostly other retail traders losing to us by us having a better idea than them sooner. But if there's no retail traders, there's no one to win from. There's just you and you know, liquidity providers, and you're not going to beat those guys. So the market starts to fucking act like just shockwaves and megaphones and garbage like you guys are watching right now. So this is a dangerous period. You know, you can see that there's a version like this. I'm too young to tell you much about that environment. There was also liquidity crisis in the internet bubble, but nothing on the level of what the fuck you're seeing. This is the worst liquidity crisis you see in the market since this period. So this is key to know, right? The real liquidities in currencies, which is why I pointed you guys at DXY. But it is definitely, this is reflective of exactly what we talked about. Retail is like dead right now. And that's part of why we integrated the channel, so we could kind of make a better communication, because this is like a war zone. You know, this is, like I said, this generationally will kill fucking people. It'll boot you out of the market. 10, 15 years, I'd be like, yeah, I used to look at crypto things, and it was an interesting like period with the NFTs and stuff. It'll kill you. It'll kill you fucking like all day. You know, so like NFTs being an ultra speculative asset on top of crypto in an environment like this, you're pulling like all free capital out of the system. And, you know, NFTs absolutely, you know, are floating on top of fucking additional layer of risk by having excess capital to speculate on, you know, what's a very illiquid assets and pretty expensive and non-leverageable assets, you know, full cash investment assets. So when you think about it like that, right, NFTs are, you know, pretty in sufficient danger. You know, as you see some of these projects come down 90%, they're just literally drawing every dollar out of the system, and you're taking out of the leverage markets. I mean, think about it. The leverage markets are thin, right? So the place you don't need all the money to trade are thin. The only, you know, something you need all of the dollars is only going to be more thin. So, you know, as long as we see this VIX keep pushing the trajectory we've been outlining and the DXY staying strong, it is dangerous to be in pretty much any risk asset. They are liquidating retail. And so the goal of this is to survive with capital, cash, when asset prices that, you know, we're seeing that we want to speculate on deflate. We'll have literally a you know, absolute advantage over anybody caught in the cycle backwards. These are the things you've got to dodge. This is the thing that like takes you away from saying, man, I wish I got like a house in 2009. This is why anyone you know couldn't. No one had a buck in their pocket. And remember, the price of assets is a function of how much water is in the pool. As they drop the water in the pool and everyone seemingly has no money all at fucking once, you know, the guy who still has cash on the side before you get there can buy the things that no one else can. They flat out remove your ability to participate in the market. So, you know, just as a perspective thing, you know, macro conversation, that, you know, is what we have to keep looking at. As long as the Fed is acting against, like, you know, the interest of, you know, regular folks and risk assets, you have to be aware of that. And people always kind of separate the Fed from the market, you know, but the Fed is the market. That is one of the most, you know, subtle but very important details you have to adjust about your perspective on the Fed. The market doesn't operate in spite of the Fed. The Fed is the fucking market. So that's a morning memo. How's everybody doing? How many of you guys were able to use the intel in Discord, OnlyFans to help make plans to, like, you know, dodge this FOMC shit, or participate and make some money, or, you know, use the show intel combined? You know, we think between the show now and the Discords, you guys should have, like, you know, as complete an intel as you're ever going to get from any analyst on the fucking planet, you know, in these formats. And we've also reduced the places to get it. There's just Discord and the show. There's no more OnlyFans or anything else. You just have to stay, like, you know, in this world, stay active. And, you know, we can't schedule opportunity, but we definitely try to provide the intel that will give you a chance to fucking make the best possible plan in a fucking shitty environment. So yeah, throw me some feedback while I fucking smoke the shit out of this. I think the setup's pretty good, right? This is as seamless as I've ever gotten it in all the years, so I really dig it. And it's like it's very very casual. We can kind of communicate like free flow all day. Something crazy pops up, so this doesn't make like schedule this clash or that. I'm not. That's not what the fuck we're doing. Like we have a live trading environment, and like I said, we trade through the FOMC call like we did. There's nothing better than on the job training, right? You just there's no other way to show you that experience. You have to kind of live through it with us, and that's the best thing I can show you. Feed so much better. Also, crypto looks choppy as fuck. Every risk asset looks choppy as fuck. I said the real blaster moves in fucking the parabolic ass fucking DXY and the euro and stuff getting smoked. That's where you've got gas right now. Like we talked about the pound franc and stuff. These guys are just getting crushed, Exactly. Scheduled calls don't work with the fucking kind of insane environment we're in. Like if we're gonna fucking be aware of what the fuck's next, we have to be fluid with what the market's giving us. And so that's what I want to remove, all of that, because it really made people dial down to like the least fucking possible. And I'm like, you can't have a C- habit in a fucking environment that requires A+ effort, So we had to like remove that, remove your ability to fucking do less, Planned and played USD accordingly. Sick bear bull, Eurozone trader. I'm in the process, still a lot to learn. I'm motivated as well. Never get good at this shit. As ever to get good at this shit. Okay. Can you guys leave me some more stories? We're short on time as always, but I don't think anybody wrote anyone yet. So we might have a short show we could fit into the time slot we're supposed to fucking fit into. Nope, no new ones. I left OnlyFans after getting some intel and only focused on a few things, but made it easier to have everything in one spot, as it doesn't decompartmentalize things so much. Okay. Jeff says, this was super interesting. Yesterday, our swim teacher for my kids mentioned yesterday how they loved the COVID era because he could just chill, trade, and live. That is a fucking scary ass comment, Jeff. So you guys see that? That's exactly who the Fed went after. All these Gen Z kids that were shacked up with their parents that just like, I don't want to fucking be tied to a career, and they're just living off people who had careers. And the liquidity that allowed that to keep them out of the workforce, that right there, whoever's on stimulus or had benefited from rent moratoriums and didn't pay rent for a whole fucking year and have like an accidental like $10,000-$20,000 of rent now sitting in their account to go fuck off with and buy NFTs, they're liquidating all of those people, forcing you to go back. No fucking liquidity to fucking have any option but to fucking stay alive and get out there in the fucking hamster wheel. So that sentiment, to having that even vocalized, is fucking either he's the only person that felt like that, or that's exactly who the Fed went for right there. That's only fucking scary. Him and his buddies, fucking crazy. So the show opened like 78 people I saw, which is extremely low. We're back at normal viewing levels, but that does seem like kind of lax vibes, skeleton crew type vibes, and the market environment definitely it's got people mind fucked right now. Izzy says, like the poker saying goes, when to hold them, know when to fold them. One thing I've learned over time is being a trader doesn't mean you have to trade every day. Know when to play odds in your favor. Absolutely right. Non-COVID 21. Yeah, right now, if you're graduating from college into this work environment, God help you. It's just like coming out into like 2008 or 9. Like, holy fuck, what a shitty environment to fucking try to fucking walk into. But yeah, chance favors a prepared mind, and you have to recognize what we're in and adjust accordingly. So we took a look at this fractal on the diamonds. Let's check it out again. So this was one extended a little further on the right hand side. I haven't adjusted since we were here. So this was like the last flag up. We just had the phantom zone on the spies, and then we corrected back down here. And this is on 2008 side. So this is after it breaks the actual low. So this morning we're gapping right now. This is the pre-market at the very tip of the low here from June. And so that was like this point here. So like, we could bar through it, or you could dick off. Sometimes you dick off on a level, or, get down. And then this right here, I had forward rolled it to where you begin the counter structure that makes the bear flag that's underneath our low. And then that begins the final wave that kills everybody in the banking crisis, right? So, and you do another flag until the new year, and then you finally blast everyone, out of their fucking boots in March, and then that's it. So we're like right now, the you are here thing, you're at the wick. So you're at this spot. We'll use that. You are here. So now if this is if this continues, then this makes for an accurate roadmap. So we can also look at the VIX today and the VIX yesterday. Okay, and then we're gonna so that's that flag. So we had this bounce here, and we're pushing up, and then VIX is 28. So yeah, that bull flag we saw like happens like next. So this would be the push we're on right here. That's a seasonal thing we talked about. And you see with this period right here, this is July, August, when it goes fucking full nuclear. This is us here in September. It's the same seasonal point. You get these rallies in the VIX. So if you look at him structurally, he looks very similar in that same area, So I marked like this period right here, and kind of the situation he did, this little head fake down, and then recoiled into what was Armageddon in that seasonal period. So we had the same kind of head fake down, and then we have the trajectory we were watching. The violation of this still allowed for the bull flag we just saw in the Dow Jones. I know this is kind of a lot. Sorry, I'm trying to make it simple, but it's really cool. So I want you all to look at it and see it. So this flag here is that like violation you saw in the VIX, and then the VIX goes nuclear and kills everybody. So that's pretty much what we're watching for right now. Does the VIX fucking have like a contra move here that probably fooled people a little bit, and then it can literally blow people away, which is what came in the back end of the year, if that's what's for us. So our inflection point right now is at the tip of the wick. Do we bar through it to set up like a local shockwave, and then bunch up underneath here, and then make a new plan? Because remember, the move from right here, this is pretty long-winded at this point, right? And it's one of the things you gotta be real careful when you like look for impulses. We look for shockwaves to make a plan where there's consolidation, and then you get an impulse. You don't want to chase an impulse too far and be like late to the party and walk into that, right? That's what allows those waves to form. People who like have a good idea but with bad timing get booted, and then it goes again, and then you get psychologically mind fucked, emotional, you chase, right? This is like hothead trading, right? You end up being part of the price and not part of your idea because you're emotionally entangled with the price. So you want to have a level head and back up. Look at the trajectory of what we're looking at here and the resolution of time it's on. This is, if you're in like a lower res trader, this has been kind of going for a bit, right? So you don't want to be retarded and like chase it on a low res into this and watch it eat a little correction. So for anybody who's like at a couple of daily swing resolutions, if we're going to get something like this is the next thing we can plan around when it happens. So that's kind of what I'm watching for, to see if we get that. I don't think this goes in a straight line to the fucking grave like fucking that. I think you at least get something. Doesn't have to be this big, but coming out the bottom, generally on the level like this, you get something, And this came a little bit after it broke through. Then it chopped the level, then it went. So there should be some kind of shockwave under this low if we get through this low, or right here at the low, is what I'm saying. So that's the simple of it. All right, that was a lot. Do you guys get that? I'm trying to keep it like, this is not the macro section. I'm just kind of going over that fractal. Everybody got all that? Memo things, clippable things. Let's see. What else did you guys say? And there is no one wanting to work now. Spoke to hotel owners. They must close for winter season because no employees, and if available, they don't give a fuck. Huh. And yeah, we see signs in like the city for people like, requesting every single position in businesses. Like no one seems to be available for anything. So there is just no one in the labor pool, which is what the Fed is trying to rebalance. That's causing producer price inflation to go with food inflation, energy inflation, runaway inflation. So you've got to get, more folks into the liquidity pool of labor, or this will keep on going, with all the other problems we have. In voice call, someone said a client stopped looking at their 401k. So that's sentiment things on the market, right? Where you don't even want to look at your account. Yeah, we're in that spot. Like, just like, if you are in 2008 and 9, that people were more than mind fucked already by September. And then the market came down and just absolutely psychologically wrecked people. They were pretty mind fucked, though, as it came off a cliff, already in that quarter. So there's levels to the wreckage that can happen, right? Jay Powell. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks for the heads up, Izzy. So Jay Powell speaks again at 2 p.m. today. So after you see what the FOMC did in the marketplace, like, all eyes are on the Fed. The Fed is the whole market. They can fucking obliterate things. So that is, you don't fucking skip Jay Powell speaking, the head of the whole thing. He can say one wrong word and throw shit off. So the Fed announcement's one thing. It coming out, like, release some pressure, let some movement happen. But now whatever he says, what people are now expecting, there's people forecasting like 125 basis point move to interest rates, which is going to take us from 3.25 to 4.5. And what he may still be willing to do is got to be taken into account. So him speaking at 2 p.m. consider like the FOMC all over again. You don't know he's going to say something ridiculous, but there's probably going to be a little standstill in the market, like real close. Had to see like what the fuck could come out of his mouth after what just happened after the announcement just smoked us. So now, like, there's more concern with what he says today because now he's an unknown. So that's dangerous. If you guys have been paying attention and you're intraday trading, the market's super illiquid until you have these events. And that's a fucking big danger. The market seems to be just moving with impulse with an event and then going back to shit. And that's what we're getting because there's no retail. So, to compensate for that, the only thing you can really do if you're trying to play this direction is be in higher resolutions, where the low liquidity chop of like whole sessions adds up to something on a bigger scale to let you do something. That's all you can really do with it. You stay in low resolutions, you're going to get cut to pieces with the way this market's moving and basically not moving for the most of the day. But once he speaks, he probably will allow the market to move again. And it's Friday, and the VIX is up, and people are probably a little terrified. It's probably hard to take risk going to an environment like this and going to the weekend after whatever he says. So they're not trying to pump the market. He's not coming in to talk to save the market. They told you they're liking seeing it go down on retail as they try to increase the labor pool. So, I wouldn't sit there with expectations he's going to pump it. Could he say something that could be taken to allow it? Yeah, but that's definitely not what he's intending to do. So all eyes on Jay Powell too, right? So cool. All right. So that being said, that's like a lot of pointers. It's 9:04. Let me do macro, and then I'm gonna jump off here and let you guys go try and make some money. So we got the fractal reviewed already. Don't need to do that again. Let's start with spies. How good are those SPY levels? You guys like the SPY sheets too to go with your DXY between the SPYs, Qs, and your DXY? You guys pretty much had like complete roadmap to walk through this. TNX, Ruble USD, Ape USD, NZD USD. Look at the fucking like non-stock list I've got here. TNX, you want fucking yields, Ruble currency, Ape cryptocurrency, NZD FX currency, fuel cell, ETH cryptocurrency, any one stock. One stock. That sentiment things. All right. I'll see what I can get on here. What am I on? Nomics. All right, we got our VIX chart over here that we talked about on this trajectory coming up off of August. That was the possible rotation seasonal for the VIX, blah, blah, blah. Stevie D, who is the last low along the trajectory, and then fucking Leon, who's the top of this entire thing. No, Leon's down here, sorry. Going up in this box range. So we shockwave Leon. And then we got like we gave you guys to watch for how he might leave if he's going upwards. And so now we may get a flag up here that sustains the system, and that would be bad for the marketplace because that would allow you to continue that fractal of 2008. So all eyes on this. You're just a earshot of 30 VIX, and this entire range. Like I said, people forget that you're just chilling in the 20s. Like you've just been hanging out in the 20s for a long fucking time. So very dangerous. SPY, talked about him. Right, we're watching this impulse data way. We're down gapping now here, and so this bear flag, macro bear flag, is rotated all the way back down to the base. So this is just keeping things in context. Like we said, this impulse is pretty long in the tooth. If you're not part of it, like on this resolution of time, you probably want to wait for like another structure like one of these to form somewhere, even if it's under here somewhere, right? We don't really do anything on the Dow, so right, we talked about this. It's possible if you could flag backwards. He only flagged this much, and he just turned straight down with the FOMC, and so now we're in the base. And so just like this thing over here, this channel was made of bull flags. This channel right? It's a low resolution. It's a low resolution bear flag. Sorry, low resolution bear market, or possibly a macro bull flag. But you play the trajectory, at least at this resolution, just like we did for the summer rally. So for right now, right, we didn't get this. This was a much smaller one. It did happen here. And we see if there's another one in sequence, until this thing violates itself. So this rally up to what was, on SPYs. This rally back here to the phantom zone is this last flag, and you're really in a major impulse all the way from there, from September 12th all the way down. So we can see that reflected in ETH as it now follows this channel. We said to pay attention to. Good old Trolex shockwave sentiment up here on that on the August high is still taking us backwards in risk assets, so we're heading toward this area. So you need to pay attention to it. It's definitely, there's liquidity here, and crypto has been a lot more resilient than stocks, right? Stocks will look fucking terrible, but risk assets as a whole are under pressure as long as the market conditions sustain. So still keep that in mind. BTC, we said you pay attention to it. Definitely has sustained this level. We said you pay attention to this as a trigger down, and he's totally holding that exact level. So those are your scenarios. He gets under there, big danger. The market catches any brief reprieve. You get the VIX like correcting a little bit to do that little thing we said can happen after you break the lows in the market. It can allow crypto, which has definitely been relatively stronger, to get a pop and pop back up a little bit in that flag. But keep track of the tide, the medium to macro tide in the VIX. If that thing keeps pushing and the dollar keeps pushing, that's all a headwind to risk assets. And like I said, if the ultimate goal is to liquidate retail, from what you guys are saying in your comments, that sentiment's starting to get there. People are starting to be forced back to work, but it hasn't necessarily happened across the board until more NFT Twitter out there takes their PFPs down and they're ashamed to show it. The more that happens is the more the sentiment will reflect that people are being washed out of the market and can't even participate if they want to. And that's what really has to happen. It's not that nobody is even willing to buy the market. There is a huge portion that don't see it, and then there's another portion that's significant that want to but are fully liquidated and cannot economically participate. That's when real bear markets happen. Like we said, that it forms with mass graves, and that's literal too. There are going to be people who financially are so destroyed they jump out of a fucking window. We already saw that with Bed Bath & Beyond's guy. But trust me, that's just like Luna. There, people committed suicide for that. Bear market bottoms form with mass graves. That's a literal statement. Everybody feels good and terrified. All right, so I think I covered everything right there, right? You guys hooked up with currencies. You don't hear about the dead. Dead don't make sounds, bro. So it's 9/11. Great time. Let's see. I'll do what I can here and get some things up because I do want to cover some of what you said. TNX, I think we did this when somebody asked us. So here's a TNX we did on Big Res. Come on. Right, and okay, maybe it's more. right? We did it like this, right? So the TNX, you're looking at this entire de-risking cycle that we hope doesn't get turned into a runaway freight train, but a stagflationary type era where, like, you know, Volcker and them had to shoot rates to the ceiling to try and fucking stop runaway inflation. You end up having this crazy ass arc in rates, and you had bonds, you know, in the United States, like 30-year bonds hit fucking like 18%, stupid shit. So you could see this cycle coming out of the 70s, of the Jimmy Carter's era into Ronald Reagan's era. This is where gold, you know, was reflecting high asset prices while there was no growth, and you had like inflationary pressure. So you had like high yields and like quasi high asset price at the same time, but no real growth, you know, being the main factor of it. We have that kind of environment, right? And Putin is absolutely trying to juice this. We had talked about this when we made this chart. Putin is like putting a tailwind on the food price and you know, fuel price and forcing inflation across the board for us. So right now you have the cycle the Fed's on, and you're not sure where they stop. But if it ever turns into something like this shit, right, this would be fucking catastrophic to people. If that fucking eggplant forms over here, like, it'd be like a holy fuck moment if they run a cycle like this, right? So one, this is a bull flag rotation of something that has been in a fucking decline since fucking, you know, I was a kid. This is now insane to see a possible rotation finally of this bull flag. So if this keeps going, like, big danger. So we're gonna track that guy on the show. We'll use this, and then we want to check the trajectory of this insane bull that's running, right? So it's kind of running up that way. I mean, that thing, he's arcing. So that's the one thing is, like, you know, at least in this wave, is he steep enough to at least get a corrective structure and then keep going, or is he just literally gonna fucking moon pump? And I think he's fairly steep when you look at it, but we haven't seen a bull in this guy in some time. So, you know, when he's bull, how steep can he get? He can get steep. So you never want to try and call him Thompson, but for right now, there's definitely momentum behind this. But you'd like to see him do something where he took a chill at this trajectory, and it should be something coming, you know, maybe within this congestion, that he gets a chill, and that gives a moment for the VIX to do what he showed. And then if you get a bear flag and you continue, then this is going to get ugly. So this is the TNX. Ruble USD. I don't think I've done it that way, have I? Ruble USD. Oh, dude, there it is. So this, for however long we can go back, kind of looks like we've seen a TNX, right? And this is an interesting chart. I mean, the ruble is definitely, you know, destroyed this downtrend here as he compromised this last high. And so now you want to see what can he do as he congests on the level, right? We always tell you to pay attention to that, how you break levels. So you pay attention to this guy, and, you know, your bull flag is just a box range right now. That's happening on this. So if he continues just like the TNX and keeps that rotation going, you care about him above this level. Ape USD, I'll need another website for that. I forgot what chart I used for that damn thing. What was it? Ape. Make this thing pop out full screen or something. So we had, oh geez. So yeah, uptrend line here to pay attention for. You never completed this setup, just rolled, and it rolled right through it. So right now, I don't know why this looks so bad. You're watching this as a bear flag to go with a risk asset roll, and he comes out of here, he can absolutely do that. So this would remain a trigger if markets were to squeeze. If you got back above this, the same trigger would still be viable. But for right now, he looks pretty shitty. It's Ape, NZD, fuel cell, ETH-BTC. All right, I move fast. NZD, USD. Cool, we did this one already. So he's tracking this channel back. He actually accelerated through the low we put right here with the DXY breakout. NZD is actually surprisingly weak against a few things, but noticing that AUD, NZD, possible, major trend breakout rotation out of the shockwave from 2014. So this has been running for like insane amount of time. If he clears this, you have a pretty crazy setup right here. See, stop ran the lows right there, and I'll just put this across like this. Right, I think that's worth paying attention to. If he gets out of that range, up or down, that could keep going. And then Aussie is really the guy you want to pay attention to there. That's why you see like him on GBP, AUD just getting smashed by the Aussie. So if the Aussie's strong across the board, then there's a couple guys in Aussie land that look like good ideas to keep track of in bigger reses, right? These rotations could keep going. So definitely been paying attention to the Aussie. That was in fuel cell. It's not on this chart. Oh, it is. Okay. So fuel cell did not ever rotate this guy. This trigger got tagged again, failed, put a bull flag on it again, never pulled it off, so he never triggered out, and he just died. So he's now down in this range of accumulation, and it's the most significant range that put this in there. So you want to pay attention to that range, right? That's what he's holding on top of right now. Can he dip into it? Yeah, totally. You would want, if you're looking this guy to long side again, right? You pay attention to the waves. That's like a high. Oops, I'll make that something better. This low to generate this low. This hasn't broken yet. I think it has a wick, right? Let me see. So yeah, that's your next high. And so you're watching his downtrend, right, from up here, and seeing whenever he does, if this could put in another low. And if he does do something like this, then you're gonna care about like this guy as a swing trigger to come out of this. So that's kind of what you'd have. Just kind of like the same setup over here. This is probably a better representation. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it'd be something like that. If he could do something like this, dump down here and recoil out of there, if he's ever going to recover. But yeah, this guy is right now still in dire straits. And then the last thing you said was ETH BTC. So on this res, like we told you on the whole macro picture of ETH versus BTC, we still think that's true. We still think it's a large scale 2017 bull flag rotation that you're watching. It's very choppy in the middle, but still structurally sound for this rotation. We told you it could come from the bottom when we drew this forecast. He could track backwards and rotate up exactly. And this block range was key to see if we had to have a bull flag form here when he got there. So he's doing it right now. It's just janky. It's an expanding range like most things, but it's still chopping that range. So sustainability above this is what you care about next, right? If he goes and breaks above it, that's what you're watching for, to see him leave some kind of structure above all this shit. So on longer picture, I think he's still sound. I think we're still in this wave. And then NEU, which is steel, I believe. Wait, what'd you just say? NEU. NEU, new market. What the heck is this? Process industries, chemicals. Okay. Nobody's ever asked this. NEU. Nope, nobody's ever asked that. All right, this thing. Kind of looks like the opposite of a chart we just looked at a moment ago. So I think this guy right here, I view this way, and him sitting underneath that is bearish. If you're watching for him to possibly recoil this thing, you're following the channel. He's giving you a real clear picture of what he's doing, the trajectory he's running down. So if he violates this, this is the time you give a shit about anything that comes back above that level. So, I think that's what you're following with the market to de-risk, and he stays under here. He could flag back and still come down, on this. But for right now, like, this is the general trajectory, and you wouldn't give a shit until he comes back across this level that we set this trigger on. All right, that was it. Got it. What time is it? 9:21. Same old fucking time. Unbelievable. 9 minutes, bitches. Then it's go time. What's the significance of AUD? I mean, he's a commodity-backed currency. He's got decent yields. So it's just really a carry trade on the currencies that have some yields or the ones that don't and have some commodity backing while there's still decent strength in commodities. It's not any more significant or anything like that. But AUD, USD, Mexican pesos, some of those guys are your real strengths. While you're seeing like Pacific Rim currencies be weak like the yen. And see like Eurozone beginning, absolutely getting smashed as the risks, change over there with what's going on with Russia. So, AUD is just one of the safer currencies out of the basket of possibles in the majors. So that's why I just spoke about that. The pound and euro are suffering from exposure to, specific risk in their region. So just anything else is kind of like a better option right now than, hanging out in Europe. So anyways, yeah, we're going to keep a bigger currency focus. And so hopefully you guys are actually interested in learning more about that. And check out the first OnlyFans post. We gave a really complete picture of how to think about what was happening with the DXY, risk, and the euro. And then we'll chat more about it in Discord. So hope you guys are liking the evolutions. We'll keep on adding as much value as we can to the system as we evolve over fully into this integration. So hope you guys dig it. Don't be a hothead out there. Cash is king in a fucking risk off environment. Stay safe, peeps. Cash on the flip. Peace out.
Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome